Hello. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time and you've seen the cover. So you already know what we're here to talk about. And I haven't even been able to say the words that the cover says. Really, I just did that because it's clickbait and that's what you have to do these days. But no, it's so scary for me to even say what this is about. But here we are. And I'm going to tell you in the most detail, I think, of anyone. If you're part of Very Good Mothers Club, the online community, you already know, and you've known this whole time. But I feel like telling my YouTube viewers is special and safe because you're probably here because of baby videos. You're probably here because of what my cervix has already done for the world. And so now to be, to have cervical cancer and to, I guess, need a hysterectomy and then possibly more, we don't know yet. It feels like you're the ones to talk to about this and have this journey be here, and you can be a part of it if you want to. So what happened was, ever since I had Jules, I knew something wasn't quite right in my reproductive system. I thought that it was just like pelvic floor issues. People ask my symptoms, and that's good because you should go get a PAP if you're concerned at all. But I was having aches and pains in my lower abdomen and my lower back. I was having bleeding at random times and after sex. And I was having, this is going to be so TMI for the people who... Anyway, basically there was an aroma. There was an aroma that was unusual, not my normal fragrance. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. So yeah, I didn't think it was cancer. I really didn't. So I went for a PAP last year, September. I've had irregular PAPs before. I've had colposcopies before. Then it was concerning. So then they brought me back in for a colposcopy, and then that was concerning. And then they wanted to do a surgery, like a conization of the cervix is what it's called, or a LEEP, where they take part of the cervix and send it for a biopsy. And so I did all of those things. I got diagnosed November 17th. So that was right before we hosted that market. If you follow me on Instagram, we put together this really amazing holiday market, and I was documenting the whole thing as part of a project with Hyundai. And it was really amazing and a lot of work and just an emotional roller coaster because of everything that was going on health-wise that I didn't feel comfortable inviting the world into. But definitely for my close circle, it was not my best time. And and then also, sadly, the healthcare system's been really disappointing, and it's hard to even know who's doing it wrong. I don't know who to be mad at or sad at, but they just kept like forgetting about me, or like I would have a UTI, which I get a lot of UTIs. I don't remember if I've told you that in the past, but ever since having Jules, I have UTIs all the time. And I would be like, so hi, I feel like I have a UTI. And they're like, oh, you're probably just nervous for your surgery. And I'm like, I don't usually burn when I pee, when I feel nervous, but okay. And then I was going in for the surgery, and then the next nurse was like, so what antibiotic were you put on for the UTI that you were diagnosed with 4 days ago? I'm like, no, they didn't tell me I was diagnosed. Nobody's put me on anything. And then I was put on something, and then a week later I had finished the antibiotics, and I was recovering from the surgery, and I felt awful, so bad. And I thought it was because of the surgery. I was like, my back hurt, my legs hurt. It was hard to think. Everything was off. And so I was going to go to the ER. Actually, ironically, or serendipitously, the hospital called me and they were like, hi, are you experiencing any symptoms of a UTI by chance? Because we realized that the antibiotics we gave you were not the ones that you actually needed. And so you need to get these antibiotics urgently. And so, things like that would happen. Or like insurance approved me to get a surgery, but I didn't find out until a month after insurance had already approved it. It's like disconnects all along the way. Anyway, I was diagnosed, and that's scary. It's micro-invasive, which means it's very early. Nobody has told me a stage, but they say it's early. What they also say, though, is that I need to see an oncologist to know exactly where it is, or like how developed it is, or if it's in my lymph nodes. But the big dilemma has been that I was referred to see an oncologist who agreed to see me, but then my insurance denied it. And then I filed an appeal, and then the insurance denied it again after processing it for 30 days. And the OB's office was really hard to get a hold of and not clear in communication. And the oncologist office is also hard to get a hold of and unclear in communication. And so it has now been a month and a half and I have not seen an oncologist, but I was able to switch insurance medical groups and get a new primary care doctor to now be. So I just went and saw a doctor 2 days ago with the new insurance that I have. And they were like, this is urgent. Cancer is urgent. And I was like, I know. I've been calling insurance. The one thing that I did that I will say changed everything was I went to my OB's office with a list of doctors in hand and was like, hey, I have been trying to get help. Nobody is helping me. You diagnosed me with cancer a month ago, and I have not been able to see the doctor that I need to see. Will somebody help me? Either choose a new doctor for me according to this list of doctors that is on my insurance, which that was the other really dumb thing. Insurance denied me to see this oncologist. And then they said, well, we've given you 3 other options and you turned them all down. And I never received any options. So then I was like, okay, cool. Who are the options? Who can I choose from? And they're like, well, we can't see that in your file. We can only see that you turned them down. I'm like, okay, great. Well, how am I supposed to pick somebody if I can't see the one that I was referred to and you can't tell me who else I could see? And then they gave me the name of a doctor that I Googled, and it was a 3-star review, and the top reviews were, don't see this doctor if you've been diagnosed with cancer. Multiple comments like that. So I was like, oh, this is really reassuring. So anyway, when I went to the OB's office and I had this list of doctors, it's because the insurance sent me over a list of doctors. But then when I started calling the doctor's offices, they were like, oh, we're actually a pediatrician or we're a podiatrist. And I was like, why are you on my list? And I'm not a doctor and I have 3 children and a job and a life. And I don't know why I'm supposed to be dedicating 100% of my time to making sure that now that I have a cancer diagnosis, I can go see the proper doctor. This doesn't make any sense. So the OB's office, I was there for several hours. It was, it's just I think nobody wants to be at fault. So everybody's quick to be like, well, it wasn't me, it's them. It's not me, it's them. And what I really want is just someone to be like, oh my gosh, this must be really scary. Are you all right? Because I was told, like, I know this feels like a big deal to you, but it's not a big deal. And okay, that maybe at the end of this journey, maybe we get to the end and they're like, actually, it was just like a tiny sprinkle of cancer and we just like scraped it out with our fingernail and then you were good to go. Then I'll be like, you're right, that really wasn't a big deal. But when I ask medical professionals, I'm like, so am I going to need chemo? Am I going to, like, how extensive is this going to be? They're like, well, no, you probably need a hysterectomy. I even went to the ER and was like, listen, I'm in pain. Could somebody do some sort of scan for me? I want some answers on this. And they're like, well, ultimately, it's your oncologist who will give you answers. So we can't tell you if you're going to need chemo or radiation. We can't tell you if it's in your lymph nodes or not. So it just feels really bad when people are like, this is not a big deal. Things take time. Insurance is really tough. It feels like being punished for not catching it so late. You know, when people find cancer really late, they go, oh, if only we caught it sooner. And here I am, apparently catching it sooner. And actually, you can't really get the help you need if you catch it sooner. It's as if they're waiting for it to be too late or something. I don't know. Because even the doctor that I saw this week, she was so sweet and really empathetic. Actually, it was my first person who was like, wow, this must be really tough. I'm so sorry. She was like, yeah, it could be that there's so little cancer in there that when they did the biopsy and cut that piece out, maybe it's already gone. And I was like, oh, that's so great. She was like, yeah, or it could be, this part I think is funny. It's like, or it could be that it is more advanced now and that it has spread to your lymph nodes and you'll need more extensive treatment. I'm like, so it could be nothing, or it could be really bad, or it could be glitters and puppy and pizza right up inside me. We'll just see when someone will finally take a look at the cancer that I've been diagnosed with. So, everything's fine. The weird part about all of this, or a weird part about all of this, is that life just goes on, and I'm not in debilitating pain or anything. I'm still working, and I'm still parenting and living life. And so what I find is just that I have overwhelming anxiety at times. I just am overcome with fear, or I randomly start thinking about death, or I'll have like a really wonderful moment and it'll immediately be followed by those, like, I mean, you've all had them when you have your baby and you're like, this is so amazing. What if somebody's gonna die, or we're gonna be in a car accident or something? It's like that, what's it called? Foreboding joy that Brene Brown talks about, when you are so happy that you imagine the worst. Well, because of the uncertainty of this diagnosis and the fact that I just can't get answers because I can't get appointments anywhere, it's a mind trip for sure. But I'm choosing to stay positive, and I'm doing all the things, and people praying for me, and I'm drinking smoothies, and I'm trying to be healthy. And I also think that diagnoses, how do you say that plural? Leave it in the comment, and I still won't know how to say it because I'll just be reading it. But I do think that in life you meet people who are like, well, when I was diagnosed with cancer, everything changed for me, and I had this new perspective, and all of this made sense. And so I do feel excited for perspective and change and health that will come from this. I do think really beautiful things will come. But what I know now is that it sounds like I'll need a hysterectomy. But I should be able to keep my ovaries, is what I was told. We'll see. And that would be great, because otherwise I'll go into menopause right away, I guess. And I don't know. Oh, I saw the doctor 2 days ago. They said it'll take about 7 days for insurance to process this referral that I got to the oncologist. And then I called the oncologist, and they said it'll be about 7 days until I can get an appointment. But that they still haven't received my medical records from my OB's office, even though I went to the OB's office and watched them send something via computer, so I couldn't see the screen, but she was like, I just sent it. And then later that night, though, the oncologist called me and was like, so the OB's office sent over a form requesting your medical records, asking for us to send them your medical records, but we've never seen you as a patient before, and we are trying to get your medical records from them. And I was like, this is really dumb. So what I've learned so far is advocate for yourself like crazy. Treat everybody with a whole bunch of empathy, because if somebody's going through a hard thing, even if you in your mind know that this is nothing, please meet them in the, oh my gosh, this seems scary. Are you okay? You're okay? Okay. From what I've seen, people do okay, but I hear how nerve-wracking this must be, because I've just been craving somebody to be like, oh, this is hard. I'm sorry. And then the other piece is, get your medical records. If you have a big scary doozy of a diagnosis, big scary thing, get your medical records so that you can always be the one to give them to the people who are asking. Yeah, I'm a month and a half into this diagnosis, and I still don't have my medical records. Sorry, I'm just talking off the cuff, so I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to post it, and sorry about that. But yeah, I think it's really important that we have our medical records and we can give them to the doctors who need them. And I'm saying this as someone who doesn't have them yet, but tomorrow I'll drive over to the proper office and get the records and bring them to the other office, and all will be fine. And that's all. And if you're a Very Good Mothers Club member, you have already been so amazing to me, and generous and kind and loving, and I so appreciate it. And for friends and family, you've been so wonderful. And for my general YouTube viewer, I care deeply about you, and I'm really grateful for you. Thank you for watching. And I think I'll include you in the journey as the journey plays out. I don't know what it's going to be. I can tell you what I'm afraid of. No, I won't. I shouldn't. I'm afraid it'll be really scary, but I also know that it could just be pretty easy. Like, it could be light. It could be like, yeah, nothing. I don't know. I'm just playing out all the scenarios, which is really not good for me. It's like going on Google and being like, so what could happen? And they're like, well, you could die, or it could be nothing. It could be great. It could be amazing. It's not good. So anyway, we'll see you soon, and I'll tell you everything as it happens. And thanks for everything. Okay, bye.